Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the lowdown on politics, all the way from dog catcher to international affairs. What's going on here in the United States? What's going on outside the country, state, local, all that stuff. So you'll be informed on what's going on and not get it from that fake news stuff like your local news or the three big networks. So let's get this show going. Let's go all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. This guy, he's never, well, sometimes he's pernicious, but he's never mendacious. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall.
I'm not even sure what all them words mean. What do you do? Look at a thesaurus every day, and is that the word of the day? Anyways, God, howdy. I'm
Howdy,
here.
howdy.
It's your hippy dippy weatherman.
Yeah. so,
Yeah,
so, how's the weather there?
it is beautiful. I actually, I actually flew. I
Oh,
flew
good.
today. Yes, not
Yeah,
5 minutes, but I flew today. So it's currently 73 degrees.
good.
Uh, Supposed to cool down a little bit tonight, down in the 50s. So but
Mhm.
yeah, mid 70s till about Monday, and then it'll get chilly again. A little chilly, but not bad.
Right. Okay. Good. Well, it was a great day here. We were in the low 70s today, sunny, just beautiful, not windy at all. So that was
Hey, Brian.
great. So let's welcome all the way from the blue state of New York. He's the bearded one. He's the guru. He's
What the
the
hell am I,
chatty
chop
one.
liver?
Let's welcome Charles Gillespie.
Hello. You heard me,
Hello.
Lloyd?
He's the bearded one, and I'm pandemic, whatever the hell them
Mendacious
words was. Yeah, whatever it was.
and
Whatever,
and
chop liver.
yeah, and morose sometimes too.
Yeah, that too, probably.
How you doing, Charles? How's the weather there?
Uh, well, about to be expected for spring. You know, nothing spectacular. Not too hot, not too cold, wet.
Cool, cool. Good to hear. So we had something happen last weekend, all over the country in all the big cities. We've had these protests called "Hands Off." Well, I like to know hands off of what? What are hands off of my money? Hands off my uterus? Hands off of I don't know. Hands off of what?
I have no clue because if it didn't involve South Florida, I didn't hear about it.
Well, it probably happened in Miami or maybe.
Oh, I saw a little something in the news, but I'm not sure what the protest was. I thought it was just an anti-Tesla thing. So,
Well, basically, it was
oh,
because hands off is the people are worried that they're going to take our Social Security away and
yeah,
our Medicaid.
that ain't
No,
going to happen. They're going to get rid
no,
of the fraud, and maybe some of those
yes,
people are a little concerned about that. Maybe that's why they're protesting because they're frauds. They've been, they've been living off the government teat for the last 20 years.
right,
Some of those people they're third and fourth generation Medicaid people.
right,
And
hmm
I mean it's sad that somebody it's unfortunate when somebody has to live that way, but
right,
because they can't help it, but for 3 generations, yeah, there's probably something wrong with that equation, so
right. Well, here in Denver, we had quite a large group, something like 200,000 people showed up. And
that's because it was in Denver.
yeah, it was in Denver, and I think New York City had a big protest, and probably Philadelphia, and you
And
know,
what did they accomplish? What did they change? they'd put as much effort into a real job or helping humanity as they
Right.
put in these friggin' protests, a lot of the problems would go away, but they're too busy protesting and whinging and whining about everything that's going on instead of actually what's their solution? Just leave
Right.
alone, they have no
Yeah.
solution.
A lot of those people have no idea what they're protesting about. Why? Because they've been paid.
Exactly.
A lot
Yeah.
of
And
those
I
people,
think there's a company in
200,
California that provides those protesters.
right?
The guy's made a business of it. He's down in, I don't know, San something or wherever the Rainbow Crowd comes from. What was that, San Francisco?
San
Mhm.
Francisco,
Yes.
silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do they
yeah,
call it? Yeah, that's where Rice Aroni come from. A lot of the other idiots that have come out of there. But anyways, uh, I think guys like him, they should be brought up on treason.
right.
'Cause they
Right.
are providing people that are insurgents. Or insurrectionists, I should say. They talked about J6. The rest of these guys are the biggest insurrectionists around.
Right.
And that
Hmm.
idiot that's making a fortune off of this,
Hmm.
because the DNC is paying him for it.
Hmm.
I think he needs to be, somebody needs to bring a lawsuit against him, or
Right.
he needs to be brought up on charges of
Right.
uh, inciting to riot. I mean, he's these people are paid to protest, which makes it a riot, which makes him legal under the inciting to riot.
Hmm. And a lot of the signs, have you noticed the signs look, it doesn't
Now,
look like they were homemade at all.
no, there ain't a homemade sign out there. They're all printed in down at Kinko's or someplace like that.
Right.
Well, you know, if
Hmm.
Kinko's, does Kinko still exist? I know we got one in Tulsa, but I don't know if they.
Yeah, I think
Well, I think they were
so.
bought up by UPS.
Ah, I am
Okay.
not going to badmouth
Or no,
UPS
sorry, or no,
today.
sorry, FedEx. Yeah.
FedEx. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they did.
Hmm.
I was going to say I'm not going. I'm at this gal. I had to ship my big sign back that I got from Bob. That I won at the drone meet of. It was a big uh, sign made by Bob Casey.
Right.
And I won, and I won that this year. That was like one of the
I
top
saw
three,
that.
four prizes.
Hmm.
Anyways, I had to have it shipped here.
Right.
It costs a little extra, but
A little extra.
a
Uh-huh.
little extra, a little extra. Uh,
Uh,
anyways, but it was worth it because the gal that was waiting on me, she had the smoothest British accent you ever heard. Just made me drool. So I stood there so I don't know what she charged me or why she charged me that, but I will say this much: it took me a friggin' half an hour to get that damn thing out because there was so much tape and bubble wrap and there was 4 layers or 5 layers of bubble wrap.
right.
I mean, we're not talking the little stuff either. We're talking that was the very actually the sign was covered. Like when you get a new computer, that plastic bag thing that's in
Yeah.
there that kind of it's not quite see through. Well, it was covered in that first and taped, and then the bubble wrap, and then another layer of bubble wrap, and then they started going to the big ones, and it was just, uh,
Oh yeah, those big.
those,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was just packed, and then it was in a huge box. So, uh,
Cool. Good.
but it didn't get a nick, not a thing wrong with it. So, I'm not going to
Good.
gripe about UPS. They did a good job. So, and
Good. Good to hear.
but hopefully, I'm going to have that sign hanging here behind me one of these days. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
That'll be
I may
awesome.
be moving where my studio's at, but
Hmm.
but
Cool.
yeah, but,
Cool.
but yeah,
Cool. Cool.
those guys that protesting like that, they don't even know what they're doing. Half of them don't,
Right.
and they're the ones who are probably on the Medicaid and welfare
Yeah. We're on the medication. Yeah.
or on the medication.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
really was, Brian. It really is gorgeous. But
Hmm.
I'm very proud of it. But yeah, the protests, like I said, I ignored it because it was just a bunch of I don't know,
Right.
just their lips flapping in the breeze.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
when someone asked them what they were protesting about, a lot of them and or they'll make up something, start saying something. Well, if you Googled it, well, why can't you just tell me what it was about, so I don't have to
Yeah.
Google? If you know so much,
Yeah.
tell me about it.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, it's a bunch of morons that have no better,
Yep.
you can't fix stupid,
That's
And I will
right.
say this much: I no longer believe in Darwin. I think his uh what do they call that? Selective evolution, survival of the fittest. There's no
Yep.
way in hell half these people could have, you know, something's wrong. See, and this is what happens when we don't have, winners and losers, and stuff like
Yep.
this,
Mm-hmm.
Uh they don't understand that there is a cost for all these things.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm. Hey,
oh, hey,
Joe.
Captain Joe.
Captain Joe. And then we got Brian. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Good to see you. And yeah, so it, it really kills me that these people are protesting. One guy looking for waste and fraud that could be beneficial to everybody, except for those that are, benefiting from the fraud and waste.
Right, right. And
Like,
that's what it's really that's who's paying the bill for all this. All
mm-hmm,
these Democrat, senators and congressmen, the DNC, all of
mm-hmm,
those that are making money off of this are the ones paying to have these protests launched.
right,
I mean, how can
right,
anybody you go back and you listen to some of the stuff that was said by Barack Obama himself,
right,
we have got to stop this waste in the government.
right.
Now that we're trying to do it, oh, that's a whole different story now.
Yeah, yeah. I think when Barack was saying it, he really wasn't serious. I
Yeah,
think it
well,
was just he just
it,
wanted to say it to
it was just sound
convince
bites. That's
people that
all it
he
was.
wanted to do
Yeah,
something about it.
just some sound bites and photo ops. That's all it
Right.
was.
That's right.
You know.
Hmm. And they're finding billions and billions of dollars in
Yeah.
waste and we're funding stuff. It's like what we're funding Sesame Street in Iraq. What? Or
Oh, it's not
condoms
just that. I
for
mean,
the people of Gaza. Yeah,
do what? What for Gaza?
condoms for Gaza, for
Well, that ain't a
Gazi.
bad. That ain't a bad
Gazi.
idea, but I didn't. Yeah,
Well,
I'm behind that one there.
yeah,
Definitely need to. Yeah,
yeah,
just saying.
yeah. Mhm.
But
FAFO. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
but yeah, they the waste in it, and what they don't understand is if they get to the real way, if they get to the waste and get rid of the stuff, the real benefits that are there will increase because we'll have more to
Right,
put towards that.
right. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
sorry about that.
And maybe we'll find a cure for coughing.
Yeah, they have one. It's called moving back to Florida. I've started. It wasn't too bad when I was in Florida. I got back to Oklahoma and my sinuses, everything just
Ah,
went. We're
yeah,
the we are the allergy capital of the United States, anyways. Is
right.
got back here and everything, and I do not have COVID,
Yeah, that's
like a bunch
good.
of the other. Yeah. So
So it was from the people that went on that cruise that got the
that's where
COVID.
they think it. That's where they think it may have started. The first
Ah,
one I heard about. First one I heard about was Captain Ray
ah. Mhm.
and Kenny Hoffbauer.
King
Those were
Hop,
the first two. Yeah,
right?
place it
Mhm.
here.
Right.
And
But
oh shit, maybe this has COVID on it. Maybe I shouldn't wear it.
uh,
I'll wear it anyways. I like it.
and Captain
Right
Ray.
now, I've been wearing it all weekend, so.
Captain Ray didn't sound too bad. Like he was.
No, he was feeling pretty bad Saturday. Everybody could
Right.
tell it. He was really running out of steam about 3/4 of the way through it, and
Right.
but yeah, uh it was Captain Ray and then Kenny and then
Mike
Hawkeye.
Wright.
Mike Wright, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the bad thing is Mike Wright and he laid down on the bed I was sleeping in to take a nap.
Uh-huh.
And he hadn't been feeling good that day, so
Uh-huh.
but he got he bought a drink of what the hell was it called? Oh, bourbon beer.
Oh, bourbon
Or
beer.
yeah, it's some sort of it was a beer that like a bourbon taste to it.
Oh,
And they had it there. We went to Castaways, a really nice little place, and
yep.
we had the same waitress last year that took care of us, but the problem is she wasn't as spunky as she was last year.
Yeah.
She was hungover.
Oh, hungover. Okay.
Yeah, she'd gone out the night before, so we took it easy on her, but she remembered us,
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Not like we didn't have shirts that said who we were, but anyways.
Now, didn't Bob Dempsey and Audrey, didn't they get COVID
I
as
think
well?
they did, yeah. I can't remember who all I heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Part of it's these. I'm making up. I didn't smoke it hardly at all this weekend, and I'm trying to catch up since
There you
I
go.
got this thing about smoking on airplanes. They just don't like it.
Yeah, they don't. They
They
get a
tried
little
to show me the
grumpy.
door at 30. I lit up, and then they tried to show me the door at 30,000 feet, and I thought that was rather rude of them. I'll
Yeah.
just put the damn thing
It's a
out.
little
Don't throw me
cold
out.
up here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Breathe. Mm-hmm. Well, my nose finally cleared up, so evidently whatever was, bugging my nose, it might be we're getting dry weather and it's not windy.
Art.
So, yeah.
Your nose is still the same size, so it hasn't cleared up.
Well, I'm not blowing like I was last weekend.
I'm not even going to touch that. Speaking of that, I didn't take old Joe with me. I was going to, but I had other shit I had to pack in my bag, so I didn't take him. So I left him sitting over here on the chair. I don't know what the hell these dummies were doing this weekend, but I just happened to look over there, and he's sitting on top of Gus, and Gus has his hands up Joe's ass. I don't know what they did this weekend. I don't want to know.
Okay.
Can't leave them too good. Yeah, I'm just worried, like, what the hell? I just happened to look over there earlier today, like, oh, shit. And, of course, the pit droid, he's just turning looking like, I don't know what's going on over here. Yeah, because he's sitting next to him, and he's turned the other way, not even looking.
The droids we're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyways, what else? We've talked about the protesters. That was
protesters and something that affected you over the weekend called car shaming. Yes, that's a thing with people who, hey, if you're driving a Tesla, oh, you must be a Nazi, or you're a horrible person, and because of one person who was really wanted to be there, because on his Facebook page, people were, and it was people that were there at the meetup saying shit. He says, why do I want to be around those assholes?
And that was kind of funny because the one that was the leader of that group, I had to literally almost grab his hand to make him shake it, and it wasn't like that last year.
Right.
He was it's a much different character, so they're not accepting loss very well. I wasn't griping, and I didn't like who we had, but I didn't gripe about it, and then go down there, and there were several of them, and but for the most part, he was the only one that I would say actually snobbed me. He snobbed a lot of people, but he's in particular me, because he know. I mean, hell, I'm on this show. Everybody knows where I stand. So
yeah,
but I don't get in their face about it. I don't
Right.
get involved with YouTube or with Facebook. That's an
Right.
exercise in futility.
Hmm. Yep. Oh
Yeah, you're
yeah.
right, Uncle Bill.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Yep. That's
And
right.
he's got the sweetest wife. And
Oh yeah. Joy is a wonderful lady
he is.
and a really good cook too.
Yeah. She made
Hmm.
so damn much. I couldn't eat it all. The first night I
I
got
know.
there, it's
I
like,
know. Tell
God
me about
almighty. I got
it.
halfway through that and she just kept putting it out in front of me like,
Yep. Hmm.
they carved them into the Teslas, not the owners. Okay.
Yeah. That's right. Hmm. And this is what's really sad is I remember back in the day where you could tell the type of voter by the car they drove. Like, well, people that drove Volvos, so those were liberals.
Right.
Liberals drove Volvos and Saabs. They drove the hoity-toity European cars.
Yeah.
And if you drove a truck, well, you were a conservative most of the time.
You're right, Bill. I didn't even make it halfway through that food. I got about a quarter of it, but
Oh yeah,
it probably would have been okay if I'd have just dished it out myself, but she serves you, so
yeah.
it's like
Oh, I
what
know.
and she believes in it's like I mean, I'm a little thick around the middle, but I'm not physically as tall or as big as
Right.
Bill is.
Mhm.
She's used to serving Bill, who's although
Mhm.
he was working to get through it too. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, she was
Mhm.
wonderful, and for putting up with me on top of everything else, just
Yeah. Mhm. I think she was a little kind of thrown back when I threw out some Tagalog to her. I said,
I don't know.
"Magandang
She seemed to understand hillbilly pretty good, so we got along fine. Yeah.
That's
And her
good.
dogs, I loved her dog because I didn't, my dogs weren't with me, and I just took up with them. They just came right
Yep.
to me, and
Mhm.
so when I'd get up in the morning, they'd see me and come scampering over there, and I'd go pet them, and when we leave, or when we'd come home, I'd pet them. It's like being around my dogs, hell.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
but yeah, I had a wonderful time. But yeah, as far as yeah, we had somebody that was planning on being there and didn't because they were a little concerned, and uh, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I mean, my God, this is
Right.
a free
Right.
country. But why should somebody feel intimidated because that's why I don't get involved with Facebook.
Right.
As far as I check it, if I see my brother or my cousins have a health issue or need prayers, I said, say in a prayer. My
Uh-huh.
friends, write up something, okay, but I don't, hey, cool cat,
Cool cat. Hey, Mike.
Michael.
Maxwell.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
anyways, yeah, I mean, but it's like, why do you have to, why do you got to spout that stuff on a open public forum?
Right.
If you want to do that, here's a
Mhm.
suggestion. Instead of doing it on Facebook and insulting half the United States, start your
Mhm.
own political podcast. You know,
Right. Yeah.
you know, we do it. We
Mhm.
are, and we talk about conservative politics. Sometimes we might mention a drone, but that's not what this channel is about. This is about
Right. Mhm.
uh, the other way, right there, that there.
Yeah.
Conservatives. We're three conservatives. We
Yep.
happen to all be gimps. Boy, I was gimping around uh, this weekend. There was a couple of times like, oh my god. Anyways, but yeah, uh, it's just some long days. But to spout that stuff off and then to make it sound threatening to people, you
Mhm.
know, that they don't feel comfortable. That's what the whole thing was about. And I heard it said more than once, although when they weren't there, that this is a community. And Bob Case said, he said, this is a community. We don't, we don't care what your religion, color, creed,
Right.
or
Mhm.
political persuasion is. We are all drone enthusiasts.
Right.
That's what we're here to celebrate our friendships and our
Right.
camaraderie and a liked or in a shared experience, and that's drones.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, and I don't care what their politics are,
Right.
but they shouldn't go around. Like I said, they want to put their opinions out and counter what
Right.
we have to say. Go right to it, man. But
Yeah.
quit making such outlandish statements
Right.
and
Eh,
making other people who are involved with this industry and this hobby of drones, making them feel like they can't be part of it, because that's not fair. Because
right.
I guarantee you, the person that didn't come there is a hell of a lot more of an influencer than the person that prevented it.
Right. Right.
You know,
That's
and
right.
you want to know something? I could, excuse my bluntness, but I could give a rat's ass if the troublemaker has showed up. I wouldn't have missed him a damn bit.
Right.
But I did miss seeing our friend with the Tesla.
Right. Right. And everybody knew that he was going to be driving a cyber truck down there, and he even put it
Here you go, Michael.
on X. I saw it on X, and
Yeah,
I followed
yeah.
that. And to make a
And
big effing deal about it, it's like, so what? He's driving a
what
Tesla.
the hell?
Yeah.
Wasn't it just I don't know, somewhere about November, let's say October of last year, that the Tesla was the greatest thing around because it was an electric car and that was going to save the environment. Now all of a sudden they're burning the damn things.
Right.
Talk
Mhm.
about two-faced, that's not the word I'm looking for. Hypocrisy. I mean, that's hypocrisy at its best.
Mhm.
And all these knobheads on Facebook that are, armchair, uh there you go, Michael. You're a committed gimp. Well, I know probably at least one of the gimps needs to be committed.
Yep.
Not saying who,
What?
though.
Yep.
I'm not going to say who needs to be committed. But anyway, see, I'm
Yeah,
starting to learn which way this damn camera works.
that's good.
Sometimes,
At
some
least
days.
you know what? I have a good sense of humor that I don't get bent out of shape like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, and there's
I
no
should say
point.
something.
My God, well, there's nothing they can say about me that
Right.
a hundred other people, probably better people than them, have said about me, and it didn't bother me when they said it.
Right. Mhm.
Friggin' allergies from Oklahoma. Man,
Yeah.
I'm ready to get back on that damn plane and uh
Head to Florida.
head back to Florida because I didn't have half this,
Wow.
And
Yep.
extremist politics needs to be made unfashionable again.
Yep.
Far too many people walking around supporting Hamas and committing acts of terrorism. Exactly.
Right. Hmm.
I mean, where did this? You know, these people would have weren't supporting Hamas back on, or any of those type of groups back on September 11th of 2001.
Right. Hmm.
What the hell? All of a sudden, it's like this, I, any true patriot to the United States
Right.
would not do that if they truly believed in the
Hmm.
Constitution and the American ideals. They
Right.
wouldn't do that. But these
Right.
guys are a bunch of overeducated, overpampered,
Mm.
willy-nilly assholes that have decided to
Indoctrinated.
do it.
Indoctrinated.
Yeah, indoctrinated communist little shits, and
Yep.
that includes even the bald shits that are involved with Facebook. Uh,
Hmm.
I figured I don't have to be nice now. I'm on this show and I'm the grumpy vlogger, and
Yeah.
asshole snobbed me all weekend, so
Hmm.
f him, you know.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But I can get along with a lot of people,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
from every point of view, I proved that this weekend. I got along great with several people that I know a lot of people don't like, but got along
Uh-huh.
with them. And
Yep.
and I don't have a problem because everybody's entitled to an opinion.
Right.
But
Right.
opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they usually stink.
Yep. Hmm. Hmm.
And they usually smell bad. So
Yep, that's right.
But I don't, like I said, I don't have a problem. But when you start getting to the extreme of, and I heard it either this morning or yesterday. Why don't they find another time period? Why is it always World War II and the Nazis? What?
Right.
And do these idiots even look and see what the Nazi party stood for? Do they look and see the crap that they're spouting?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out I forgot I'd put them in a different place, and I packed it up, and
Mm-hmm.
when I found them, I lost my driver's license, my teeth, and my cane. And I found my teeth this morning. This afternoon, I found my driver's license. I know where the cane's at, and I ain't worried about it because I got about 3 others here that I can use.
Good.
But at least I think that's where it's at. So, but these guys that are spouting this crap, they just need. And by the way, hello, Donald. They just need to start using their brains. They need to start studying history. They need to come up with something different. How about calling us, Bolsheviks or something like that?
Wait a minute.
Or
Most of
not
them are.
Bolsheviks. Huh? How about what are the Cossacks?
Cossacks.
There's they're the Bolsheviks. We could be called the Cossacks.
Yep.
Hey, they had them cool hats, man.
Yeah, they did.
Or
Astracans. Yeah. And they were warm too. Yeah.
I just read what Don said. I'm not going to answer that, Don, because any answer I give is going to be worse than I could get. Yeah. I usually keep them in a bag that has my
blue pills.
No, I don't shit. No, I'm sorry. No, no, I have the toothpicks and floss sticks, and they're mint flavored. I can drop my teeth down in there, which is where I normally put them. That's actually where my lowers were at. But I have this bag that I put my deodorant and stuff in, and it was sitting on the bedside table there at Bill's house, and I took them out that night and dropped them in there, and then I forgot where the hell I put them until I found them today. Like, well, you dumbass! I remember putting them in there, but and my driver's license, it was I put it in a certain pocket at the airport after I had to show it, and then I unloaded that pocket and I couldn't find it, and that had all the stickers and toys and stuff I brought home, and I put it in a very nice Crown Royal bag that Bill had gave me. And so today I was looking for stickers to put on my new drone case for my new drone, and as I was going through, I'm like, oh, there's my driver's license, because I was planning on having my son take me out tomorrow to go get my new driver's license and to get my real ID driver's license. So still going to go out and do that, but now I don't have to go through quite so much hassle because I found my original. So
good. Also, a Crown Royal bag is really handy for your FPV goggles.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because that's what I did when I got the Avado 1.
Right.
And Rick gave me, he gave me one of his Crown Royal bags. I thought, oh, okay. And then I saw
I hadn't thought of that. That would be good. Because you can put them in there and don't have to necessarily worry about the sun hitting those.
Right.
Yeah.
If you forgot to put that cover over.
The cover back on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always turn them face down anyways. I don't trust that cover, so.
See?
But, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yep. And it was 9 years ago that Rick fell off the stage at the State Assembly and broke. I think he broke his leg. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know 2 or 3 Ricks, and I was trying to figure out which one you was talking about.
Because I went down there with them. They drove. I had to find somebody else to drive me back to Denver because it was down in Colorado Springs at the World Arena. And
Crown Royal is a
Oh, you got the orange one. I got the
peach.
purple.
Actually, this one's peach, but
Oh,
yeah,
peach. Okay.
yeah. What is that? Not Scotch, just a
Yeah,
bourbon,
it's a
right?
bourbon or it's a
Bourbon, yeah,
whiskey. You know.
yeah, whiskey. It's a type of whiskey. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Crown Royal.
Mhm.
Very. They always give you these nice bags, and because Bill works at a place that has a bar, he had a
Mhm.
bunch of them that he was going to give out, and he forgot. And I intended to grab a couple more before I left, and I didn't. So, but
Mhm.
yeah. It's Mr. Lawn. I missed you down there, buddy.
Mr. Lon, yeah. Welcome, welcome. We were just talking about
Gimps, not pimps, you knothead.
yeah. We were just talking about car shaming. About your friend that didn't show up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
that's.
what else can we talk about?
I don't know. How about we had another crash today? Another helicopter crash. Killed 6
Oh,
people, including some children.
oh
in
no.
in New York. I think it was in New York City. I just saw snippets of it, but I hadn't got a
Oh,
chance.
was this out on the Hudson or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Out on the Hudson. That's
I
right.
saw something about that and I didn't know
Yeah,
what it was. And
I know it
just
was a Bell Jet Ranger or something like that. It was one of the Bell
right.
helicopters, so it's probably.
Mhm.
But I don't know what the circumstances are. Some
Right.
say they heard that the tail broke off, and somebody
Ooh,
said one. But my understanding from what I heard was it was
the tail rotor
yeah,
broke or
no, the engine. There was an engine malfunction, and
ah,
then I don't. And normally they would have auto rotated down, but
right.
something happened, and apparently lost the one of the main props
Oh,
broke off, and then the tail broke off. So
ah,
and it killed 6 people. So
wow.
uh,
Mm.
that's not. We've been having a lot of helicopters falling out of the sky.
Yeah,
So, you know,
helicopters, jets,
well,
planes.
yeah, jets too, but yeah. Matter of fact, one of the jets I was on uh, is when I was leaving out of Atlanta. Uh, we all got on there, and then they said, "Well, it's going to be we got some issues that they're working on, and
Mhm.
we're going to be at least a half an hour." And so, okay, we sat there for a little while. It wasn't bad,
Right.
And uh, then finally they said, "Well, we got some good news and some bad news. The good
Oh,
news is the part they thought it was is exactly what the problem was. So they know what the problem is. The bad news is they had to order it, so it's going to be at least an hour before they can
uh,
get it installed." So,
uh,
uh,
okay.
yeah, but there you go. Spanish
That's
family in
kind
a heli
of
crash in Hudson. The pilot, from what I saw, was flying aggressively, maybe, and the tail was seen dropping into the water after the crash. So, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
okay.
But, anyways, so we had to disembark, and so we had to
Oh,
go get off, and it was about an hour later. Uh, yeah, which
just
fortunately, the going from Atlanta, that was my last jump. That was my
right,
layover. And
right.
on the way out there, the plane in Tulsa got held on Friday. They got held up because not held up with gunpoint. They got delayed by almost 50 minutes, which was how long my layover was in Charlotte,
Oh,
because we had severe thunderstorms and lightning everywhere. And
uh-huh.
the ground crew, for some reason, didn't want to do a pushback. So I don't know.
Mhm.
And here we are sitting in this big giant piece of metal, and we're all sitting out there. But what the hell? Supposedly, anyway. So what they ended up doing was delaying us, and when you got into Charlotte airspace, you could rearrange. So the plane got in 3 minutes after my connecting flight had already left. So then
Uh-huh.
I had to catch the next one out, which was 2 hours later. So I was already delayed by an hour. So I was 3 hours late getting there. I was supposed to be in there about 12:30, 1 o'clock. I ended up getting in about
Three or
uh
four.
about 10 after 4, got my
Right.
car, and then drove down for 45-minute drive down to uh
Six.
6. I got in there at
Mm.
5:30,
Ah,
so.
Okay.
And
Cool.
anyways,
So, you know what kind of jet you flew on?
yeah, the one going. Well, I was on a. I can't remember. I was on a 737 and an Airbus, one of the small Airbuses. Actually, I think I was on the Airbus from here to from Oklahoma to Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
and from there I flew. I think I was in Airbus all the way. So,
Yeah,
and they're
good.
not bad. They're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. I make
you know,
parts for that. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's right. That was probably I think they said there was something wrong. They said there was something wrong with the
De-icer.
antifreeze device. And I went up
Yeah.
and talked to the pilot, and he says, "Yeah, that's what it was." I said, well, "I know this
Yeah.
little short shit," and he's probably one. He probably knew I was on this, so he screwed up the part before they.
Okay. Yeah, but it was probably an older plane, so I wasn't involved. I'm recent.
A Bell Long Ranger. I knew it was bigger than the Jet Ranger. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing that link. That way we'll, because I'll look
Oh,
into it. I've like I said, I just heard snippets of it
uh-huh.
because I've been out and about today doing a couple things
Mm-hmm.
and haven't really had a chance to catch up on the news.
Right.
But let's see. What else you want to talk about, Art? Charles,
Oh,
what do you want to talk about?
Oh boy. Well, I don't know really. There's so much crap going on.
yeah. So much of it that Elaine's
Hard to pull a single
finally
topic
pissed
out
off.
and
Yeah, it is. There is really some silly, stupid stuff happening in this country.
Yep.
I mean, for the most part. I mean, well, okay, let's talk about the tariffs.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned that on Sunday. Like, oh, I've lost, I don't know, $130,000, and I'm going to have to. He works for one of these investment companies, and he was
Right.
as a tech person, and he was up. You know, he lost some big money, but like I didn't know what to tell him, but he was going to talk to his portfolio guy and see if he needed to get something that wasn't quite so liquid. It's quite
Yeah.
so.
I imagine he's made it all
Politics.
back by now, hasn't he?
I was going to say he probably has made some back because
Yeah.
the stock market's turned around,
Yeah.
and they knew they would, and it was just you know everybody said wait. Those that were paying attention,
Right.
wait,
Mm-hmm.
because this was strictly to get some of these people to start giving us a fair shot in the
Right.
market.
Right.
And if you're going to do us that way, we'll.
And also, yeah, he put a moratorium or a pause on it. What was it? 60
Nine- 90 days, and the tariffs are being dropped to like 10%
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
to give
Yeah.
people time to respond and negotiate.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, it was one of our other drone people was crying about his 401k. Oh my God, that goddamn Trump. It's like,
Well, everybody's entitled to look at it, but if first off, you shouldn't have your 401k dumped into stocks like that. You need to have it a little more diversified. And
diversified.
I am not. I'm not a finance guy.
Uh-huh. But he plays one on TV.
No, I don't even do that. But no. But I mean, even I know that stocks is iffy at best,
Yeah.
and a 401k is a long game, or it should be a
Yeah.
long game.
Yes,
It's
it
not.
is.
It's
Yeah,
not the short game
20,
investment.
30.
It's 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
That's if you started late, well, you're going to get 10 or 20 years if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But if you start when you're younger, you can 30 years down the road, it's going to be a whole different story. So, and you don't have to worry about that. But people look at it from the data. I made that mistake. I was invested. I was in an investment program, and I was doing great, and it was costing me. I had I bought so much each month. It was I invested, and they reinvested it for me. I had it set to where it automatically came out of my retirement check.
Right.
And 1987, when the shit hit the fan,
Right.
and everything went tits up, and I have old Mr. Walton saying, it's only paper. Well, it turned out that part of my investment was in Walmart. So I called him up and I said, I'm sorry, I'm cashing out. I want everything back. Had I waited, that stock has probably split 20 times since then. And a little bit of investment that I'd made, is a few shares that I owned, within 10 years, within 10 years, I was supposed to have had close to $1 million in that investment. And it would have been fully, not vetted. What is it? When it matures.
Oh, yeah.
That word. You know what I mean?
That word. Yeah, Charles, help us out.
Well, isn't it vested? I think
vested. I would have been fully vested within the 10 years, and everything else would have gone into that and just kept building. And I would have been great. And the way the stocks all split, and with Walmart stuff, and then everything started growing, I'd have been, not that I'm not uncomfortable, but I'd have been really comfortable. Judy and I both would have. And it would have been a great thing. But I got antsy, and I didn't look at the long game,
Right. And you can also adjust your contributions as well. You could put as much as you want.
Well, this was a set investment program where I had to set an X amount of dollars. And so I lost anything I made. I made back what I'd put into it, plus a little bit of, a little bit of profit that I got off of. But yeah.
Wow, the stock market ends
over 2,900 points. Yeah.
Wow. 12%. That is a huge.
Back before 1987, anytime the stock market ever got above 1,000 points, it became very unstable and volatile, and usually crashed. And it dropped back down to it'd correct itself back down to about 500 points. That was in 87. After after the big, I'm on a show, Knothead. Oops. Hello. Yeah, I was on a show. All right, will do. All right. Bye-bye.
Was that Greg?
No, that was my cousin. He texted me, and I hadn't had a chance to answer him yet.
Okay. So
this is what you want. This is what you want. See, I'm fully vested, so this is what you want.
Oh my God, Charles. Well said, my friend. Well said.
Yeah. In the last few years, I've increased my contribution, so I'm putting a little bit more in each paycheck. So because I'm getting closer to retirement, and yes, Lloyd,
I was just seeing what Uncle Bill's saying over there. The tariffs are working, and that's it. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They were a negotiating thing. Everybody that had a lick of sense knew that. They just wanted a bitch.
Right.
That's all this is about. Because the reason they're bitching so much, they don't have anything else. I mean, good God, look at that old lizard Carvel,
Oh, yeah.
Like, good. And you always hear from him, but you never hear from his wife.
Yeah, whatever happened? Are they even still married?
I looked it up. They are still married. She's on the speaking circuit as a
No.
conservative. She's still a conservative,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say she's aged a little better than he did.
Yes. Carville looks like the guy from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Schmeagol. That's
Schmeagol. Give
Tyson.
him his ring back.
Tyrus last night said give Schmeagol his ring back. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, he does, man. He's just like,
Yeah.
oh my precious, precious. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's the that many nations lower their tariffs on us. It's a win. Exactly, Bill.
Yep.
Let's see. Over 75 countries have reached out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trump posted buy, and then I watched the stocks blow up. Not great today, but it was a blast yesterday. Tesla closed $50 ahead. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I forget you 10, that all them Democrats are over there bitching and moaning. They've got money invested somewhere along the lines. They've got Tesla investments.
Well, they made most of their money on, all the stocks they bought after they had passed a spending bill that will go to that company. Yeah. Say that company is building something, and they go and, hey, Paul, go buy some stock in that whatchamacallit.
Right.
Then
Well,
he goes
you talk about that.
that's Paul Pelosi. Anyway.
The Senate had passed a bill and they sent it back over to the House, and the House passed it today with some revisions. So now it's got to go back to the Senate, I think, in reconciliation. But it looks like they're actually getting a budget passed this year.
Oh, good.
And they're giving Trump. Some of the conservative groups they're on the edge, but they got enough votes and it passed. And now, if the Senate can pass it, go back and rehash it, and then hopefully it'll go. But it has the support of the Senate. Well, the bill that was sent to the House had the support of the Senate. The House has made a few revisions,
right.
probably a little more conservative, but it's going to do a lot to help reduce the, it's supposed to reduce the deficit stuff. But yeah, which is the first. I mean, they said it was a pretty good victory for Trump.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, what I like to know is what about his taxes? Did that pass? Did that get changed? I mean, are we going to get no taxes on tips and
Well,
social?
I think that's in this bill. I think that's one of the things that's in it.
Overtime.
I haven't had a chance to go look at it. I just got that it had passed, and that was part of the things that were promised. And I know they said that it was that I was going to say Uncle Bill. I meant Uncle Donald Trump. That he got what he wanted in it, or for the most part. So now it's just back to the Senate. I don't know if it goes into reconciliation now or not. I can't remember. I've just been hit and miss on the news today. So last couple of days,
right.
So we'll see.
But so what else? Oh, Colorado's got a bill coming forth. I guess it passed. Oh yeah, the Democrats, they snuck it into where the Republicans had no say in it at all on this bill. So it's a bill that would if you're in a custody fight with your kids and you misuse their pronouns,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, for Christ's sake, you
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. If you don't recognize their whatever it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, a lot of these kids will grow out of this shit, but boy, I mean, they're, oh, if one parent doesn't want the so-called hormone blockers
Right.
and you know, the treatments and all that,
Yeah.
well, they could lose custody of their kid. And it's
Yeah.
like,
And this is bordering on insanity.
yeah,
You know, and
insane.
that's the thing. They want the male species in the United States to be so wimped out and so weak and so, that's why they've gone with that's why for the longest time they were going through this what do they call that? Toxic
Puberty.
masculinity.
Oh, toxic,
You know,
man. Yeah.
so everybody, all the young males started wearing man
Mm-hmm.
buns and
Yeah.
and I saw a
I
guy
thought
that had a
it
man bun that
was,
was about that
what
big around
was
up
it?
on, you know,
Toxic sock syndrome? No, the toxic shock syndrome. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, but they want the males to be submissive because
Submissive or de-evolved, where they don't.
right.
Yeah.
So that because when it comes down to it and we're invaded by
Let's
another
kill off the
country,
human race. We get rid of man, then
right.
that'll end our
Well,
species. Right there.
the whole thing is uh by causing the wimping down of the male, when it comes down to if there's a battle to be fought, if we have to, go to arms for some reason to defend ourselves in the United States, those guys aren't going to be the ones, and certainly the women aren't going to be the ones going to do it. And this is
Uh-huh.
what they want. So if you have such a weakened male population that they
Mhm.
can't stand up to, it's going to be easy for them to walk in and take over.
Right. And if you want men in women's bathrooms, I don't know, that kind of sounds like against women's rights. I don't know. That just sounds wrong to me. You know, it's counterintuitive, you might say. You
Yeah,
know, it's uh, it's going to hell. Dogs and cats and yeah,
yeah, yeah.
doing
I
it
know,
in the
right?
street. Yeah, it's
See
just
what Bill
crazy.
toxic masculinity equals growing a really long beards and wearing ball caps all the
Yeah.
time. Yep. Yeah, you can't say I wear them all the time because a
Well,
bunch of guys saw me with my cowboy hat on this weekend.
at least he said ball caps instead of ball sacks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But
Mhm.
no, I mean I'm proud. This is nice. It's actually a nice, comfortable hat, to be honest with you.
Well, good.
Just, Place It Here gave it to me this weekend. So,
Yep.
but yeah, so I mean, states that do stuff. I started to say something else. States that do stupid stuff. That's why you got to whistle because I was stopping myself from saying it. Yeah, that's why it whistled because I stopped it and it just yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, states that do stupid stuff like
Mhm.
Colorado, you know,
Colorado.
they're
Hey,
they
let's
are going
outdo
to
California.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
are. That's sad.
Yeah. Let's race. Hey, let's race to the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, that's another
Probably.
level higher of toxic masculinity, Bill. Okay.
hmm Yeah. Well, folks, we have covered an hour and we pretty much beat to death tariffs and car shaming and hands off. And I just wish they'd be hands off of my guns. That would be nice. Hands off of my guns. Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, move to another state. You know, if
Yeah.
you can't afford to move to, move to. Well, I don't know. We got a lot of allergies and stuff. That might be
Yeah.
rough, but
Yeah.
but there are other states, like
Yeah.
Missouri.
Yeah. Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri.
Missouri. And Nebraska's not too bad. They're not,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, but Nebraska's colder than a witch's tit in a cast iron trough.
Yeah. It can be. Yeah.
Can
I
be
was.
hell. It is. It's like blizzard country.
Yeah. Well, so is Wyoming. I thought about Wyoming, and but right around Cheyenne, the homes are getting expensive
Well,
around
yeah,
there.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been looking at western Nebraska, like Scotts Bluff, Alliance, in that area. I might go
Right.
as far east as Hastings,
Yeah. Yeah.
down there by or North Platte, North
Right.
Platte, Nebraska. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
houses
just
are
too damn
cheap.
cold for me. That's colder than Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, I like the South. I got to admit it. I like the warmth.
Yeah.
Much better than I do the cold.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oklahoma's a great place to live because we got a low cost of living. Yeah,
Right.
we have property taxes, but it's not excessive. And
Right.
but our cost of living and stuff, and this is
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of veterans retire here because they do treat the veterans well here too.
Right.
But still, we got and we got things, we got like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's a lot to do up there. It's a little more expensive up there.
Right.
You can get in one of the suburbs, one of the satellite cities like us, or they call them bedtime cities, because
Right.
people work in Tulsa and Broken Arrow, and then they come home to Muskogee to sleep, eat, and do whatever else they do here. But but we do have pretty high allergy rate. So,
Right.
anyways, I digress.
All right. Well, don't forget my other show tomorrow night is my birthday show. It's the 7th year we've been doing Art Co. So go to that and celebrate 7 years on YouTube. And
7 years of tripe and silliness.
who knows? I might give away a camera. Yeah. Yeah. So take care, everybody. God bless. And don't forget Bill's show on Saturday. Take care, everybody. Good night.